In the wake of her husband's death, Anna finds solace in the quiet companionship of Belle, his beloved horse. Together, they navigate the healing journey through seasons of loss, love, and renewal. This is a story of grief, resilience, and the unexpected ways animals help us heal. One morning, not long after the fawn had grown strong enough to be released back into the forest, Anna stood by the fence line, watching it disappear into the trees. Belle stood beside her, her mane catching the sunlight, her ears flicking with quiet alertness. The forest, usually so vast and intimidating, now felt a little closer, a little kinder, perhaps because a small life had been saved, or maybe because Anna herself had changed in some quiet, unseen way. "Another goodbye," Anna whispered, more to herself than to Belle. "But this one feels like a beginning." Belle lowered her head and rested it against Anna's shoulder. It was the simple gestures that always meant the most. The weight of trust, the gift of quiet presence. Anna reached up and ran her fingers through the mare's mane, her eyes following the path the fawn had taken. She felt no sadness this time, only a gentle, healing ache, like the first tug of a scar knitting itself closed. That evening, as twilight settled over the land, Anna and Belle walked the perimeter of the property together. It had become a part of their routine, not just to check the fences or make sure the barn was secure, but to move, to breathe, to be. The earth felt solid beneath Anna's boots, and Belle's steady hoofbeats created a rhythm that grounded her. They stopped near the old apple tree that Thomas had planted decades ago. Its limbs were heavy with blooms, the air thick with the sweet scent of new life. "I remember when we planted this," Anna murmured, reaching up to brush a blossom with her fingertips. "He said it would outlive us both." Belle exhaled softly, her breath warm against Anna's arm. Anna turned toward her, smiling gently. "But I think he underestimated you, Belle. You've carried more than he ever imagined. You carry me." Later that week, Anna found an old leather-bound journal tucked away in a drawer. The pages were yellowed with age, the corners curled. It was Thomas's, filled with notes, sketches, and gentle musings about the land, the animals, and Belle herself. He had written about her birth, her training, and countless quiet rides they had shared under starlit skies. Belle has a soul unlike any horse I've known. She listens. She feels. There's a kind of wisdom in her eyes that makes you stop and reconsider your place in the world. I hope, when I'm gone, she stays by Anna's side. She'll need her. And Belle will understand. Anna traced the words with her fingertips, her breath catching in her throat. It was as though Thomas had written them for this exact moment. She looked out the window, saw Belle grazing quietly in the pasture, and felt her heart swell. The next morning, Anna brought the journal outside. She sat beneath the apple tree and read aloud to Belle, her voice trembling at first, then growing steadier with each word. Belle remained close, occasionally flicking her ears, as if listening to the memories come to life. As summer deepened, a group of neighborhood children began to visit the farm. Some had never been near a horse before, their eyes wide with wonder and trepidation. Belle, with her calm demeanor and gentle spirit, became a natural guardian. She would lower her head so the littlest ones could touch her forehead, her patience unwavering. One little girl, Lily, had lost her father the year before. She clung to Belle during every visit, bearing her face into the mare's side, tears soaking into Belle's coat. Belle never flinched, never stepped away. She stood still, her body a living refuge. Watching them, Anna realized that Belle's gift wasn't just for her. The mare carried the broken pieces of others too, gathering them gently like fallen leaves, never asking for anything in return. "She's healing us," Lily's mother said one day, tears in her eyes. "In ways I don't think we'll ever understand." Anna nodded, her voice thick with emotion. "She does that." One night, as the crickets sang and the moonlight silvered the pasture, Anna stood in the barn, brushing Belle's coat in slow rhythmic strokes. The routine was familiar, meditative, each stroke a prayer, a thank you, a quiet vow. "Sometimes I think you're more angel than animal," Anna whispered, resting her forehead against Belle's. "You carry so much and still manage to give more." Belle let out a soft breath, and in that moment, Anna felt the last remnants of her old grief shift, not disappear, but soften, like snow melting under spring's first touch. They stood like that for a long time, woman and horse, surrounded by the scent of hay, the warmth of old wood, and the eternal hush of trust. The days grew longer as the heart of summer reached its peak. Golden fields swayed in the warm breeze, dragonflies danced across the tall grass, and the barn was filled with the sound of quiet contentment. Belle chewing hay, the occasional rustle of the barn cat, the creak of the old rafters settling into the afternoon heat. One morning, Anna found herself preparing a small picnic. She packed a basket with slices of warm bread, a bit of cheese, fresh picked berries, and a flask of tea. It wasn't much, but it was something she hadn't done in years. She tied the basket to Belle's saddle and mounted her slowly, the ease of the old routine surprising her. They rode together through the open fields, the land wide and soft beneath them. Belle's gait was smooth, unhurried. She seemed to know exactly where Anna needed to go, even before Anna did. At the crest of a hill, under the shade of a sycamore tree, they stopped. From there, Anna could see all of Ardenbrook, the winding creek, the distant barn, the apple tree in bloom, and the trails that carried echoes of old rides with Thomas. She dismounted, spread a blanket on the grass, and sat beside Belle, her heart full but calm. "You've brought me back to myself," Anna said, her fingers brushing the mare's strong shoulder. "Not to who I was before, but to someone new. Someone softer, maybe. Someone who remembers how to hope." Belle turned her head and nuzzled Anna's hair gently, and Anna smiled, tears welling in her eyes, not from sorrow, but from the quiet miracle of having made it this far. After their small meal, Anna lay back against the tree, her eyes closed, Belle grazing quietly nearby. For the first time in a long time, Anna felt no need to rush, no weight pressing down on her chest, just the breeze, the scent of earth, and the steady presence of the animal who had carried her through her darkest hours. As the days slipped into early autumn, the colors of Ardenbrook changed again, burnished golds, deep reds, and fiery oranges bursting across the trees like a painter's final masterpiece. The air grew crisper, and Belle's coat thickened in preparation for the coming cold. Anna began writing in Thomas's journal, filling the once empty pages with thoughts, stories, memories, and gratitude. She wrote about Belle, not just what she did, but who she was, a soul companion, a bridge between what was lost and what remained. She wrote about the fawn, about Lily and the children, about quiet mornings and tearful nights. She wrote about the healing, not as something sudden or dramatic, but something slow and sacred, like dew collecting in the early light. And every evening, after writing, she would walk down to the pasture where Belle waited. Sometimes they stood together in silence. Sometimes Anna would read aloud. And sometimes she would simply rest her head against Belle's shoulder and breathe. One night, as the stars blinked awake one by one, Anna whispered a quiet promise beneath the same apple tree where Thomas had once dreamed aloud of the future. "I'll be okay," she said softly, "because I have you, and because I know he's here, in every breeze, every bloom, every breath we take." Belle looked at her with steady eyes that held the depth of 1,000 unspoken words. She didn't need to speak to be heard. Winter arrived like a hush, wrapping Ardenbrook in soft white blankets. The land slowed, quieted, settled. But inside the barn, the warmth never faded. Anna built a small wooden plaque and hung it above Belle's stall. Carved into the wood were the words, "Grace in silence, love in motion." It was the only way she could describe what Belle had been to her. A grace that spoke through stillness, a love that moved through every quiet act of devotion. And when spring came again, as it always did, Anna stood at the gate with Belle beside her, watching the first green shoots break through the thawing earth. A new beginning, a new season, but the same bond, the same love. Anna turned to Belle, her hand resting on the mare's strong neck. "We made it," she said, her voice a whisper in the wind. "You and me, we're still standing." Belle nickered gently, and the sound was a song, soft and steady, as enduring as the land they both called home. Thanks for spending time with Anna and Belle's story. If it touched you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a little light today. Have a story of your own? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, be kind to yourself. And hold close those quiet companions who walk beside you